Well, hello everyone, and good morning. I'm glad to be alive. What about you? Let me sprinkle some love out there to you. Here it is. Grab a hold to it. Yes, we're live this morning. Welcome to Tea Time, where we have live discussions about things that affect us daily in our lives. Every Saturday at 9 a.m. Central Time. Thank you for joining us. My name is Dr. Tonie Anderson Still, and I am your host today, and I'm glad to be your host today. Alongside of me, you can see our special guest, attorney Mary Williams. She wears many hats, and as we go through this program, we will discuss some of those hats because we want to know more. I want to know more. If I want to know more, you should want to know more too about us, about everything that is going on around us that affects our livelihoods. So, welcome, Miss Mary Williams, attorney Mary Williams. It is so good to see you today, and I'm glad you agreed to be on the show. Tell us a little bit about yourself, please.
Good morning, Dr. Steele, and everyone out there. My name is Mary C. Williams. I am a national election protection attorney. I am based here in Florida now, having spent the previous 20 years actually in DC, and also working with civil rights groups across the nation. I'm based here in Florida now, working with a coalition of organizations throughout the state on making sure we protect the rights of all people here in the state of Florida and throughout the country. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's a delight. Let me tell you, and I thank you again for being on the show. Now, today we're going to discuss voting rights untouched. If you're paying attention, you know voting rights were untouched in Alabama, right? And I'm like, but what about Florida? We need the same thing. I mean, not right now, not next year, not next 2 years. We need it right now. So, what I want to do is discuss some of that. And I know you have the ins and out on most of those things that occur. And I want to be enlightened today, and I want the guests to be enlightened about that. We want the same thing in Florida that the state of Alabama received from the Supreme Court.
Correct. And we are working on that. And this is stemming from the Voting Rights Act of 1965, whereas the United States, the federal government, and the courts agreed that to protect the rights of Black voters, African American voters, to elect the person of their choice, their color, their representative, that the districts and the way we're elected to Congress and other offices, there are districts, and it's called reapportionment. We call it redistricting, and it's reapportionment. Every 10 years during the census, we divide into districts with equal population, voting population numbers, and we get to elect the representative of our choice. On the national level, in Florida, for example, we have 28 congressional districts to elect representatives to Congress. Throughout Florida, we're also divided by county, regions, and others for the state, on the state level. So when the census is done every 10 years, when we decide the population and we redraw those maps to elect our representatives, they must meet certain criteria. And that is set by the law and set by the courts. And of course, in Alabama, which recently the U.S. Supreme Court upheld a decision by the Alabama State Court that
Yeah.
said that the Black voters in the state of Alabama had sufficient number of voters, Black voters, to have not one elected representative, but two. So you get to elect your representative by the numbers in your population, in your district. So if you have a district that is drawn, a map drawn with a majority minority population, then it is likely, and it's usually from 45% to on up, that you can elect a person of your choice, of your community.
Yes.
And Alabama had a 27% Black population. But the way that the map was drawn was to dilute their vote. And that goes against the Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, that if there is a contiguous minority population with sufficient numbers to elect their candidate of choice, if they vote in the way that most of them vote, they should be able to do that. And the maps should be drawn not to prevent this from happening.
Right.
And
Yeah.
this is what is called gerrymandering. And we have seen now, not only in Florida and Alabama and the southern states, but throughout this country, where the Republican Party, and not because of any particular opposition or anything, but the fact is, if they are in the power, in the they're the power holders, in all a majority power holder in the state, and they're drawing the map, they may not draw the maps to ensure their reelection, or to keep, or to block out any other communities from being able to elect their own representative. And that is a very big problem when you have a majority party in office and in the state legislature drawing those maps to keep themselves in power or to increase their power, so that they will definitely discriminate. And this is what has happened in Florida, where we have a majority population of Republicans holding office. They drew a map here in Florida, and it eliminated 2 minority districts throughout the state, one in Miami and one in the Jacksonville, Duval County. And Al Lawson lost his seat. He had been a long time representative. We have 28 congressional districts, and I think 8 of the 28 are held by Democrats, minus 2. So we're down 2 minority districts in the state of Florida. Now, what that means, not only locally, we don't get heard in Congress. Our voice has been actually silenced to an extent, but it also means that on the national scale, where Congress, the House of Representatives, where we have a very narrow margin, like 4 or 5 different representatives, that can make all the difference. The 2 lost seats in Florida, and Alabama lost 1 in their map, but they will get that 1 back. That's 3. There's a difference in the vote. Republicans hold something like 228 seats, and the Democrats hold maybe like 218 or something like that. Like it's a very small margin, 5 to 10 at times, in the voting. So if you belong, and one of the reasons the race comes into play along with the party here in Florida, because Florida in 2010 passed and approved the Fair District mapping. And that particular state law said that the maps cannot be drawn to protect or prevent an opposing party from actually voting. And so the maps cannot only be drawn based on in order to keep Black people from electing, or racial minority from electing their own, but it cannot be drawn to empower the sitting political party, which is the Democrats and Republicans. Because in a way, the race and the political parties are pretty much defined. Courts, the 2 things the courts looked at the Voting Rights Act here in Alabama and here, and we'll be looking at in Florida. Florida drew its map. It's in the court system now. Is whether the maps were drawn with the intent to discriminate, or the effect that, even though they didn't have the intent to discriminate, which we do, they did, because our governor said that was why. Right? No racial, he's not going to do anything, draw any maps with racial considerations. Well, yes, you did, because you said, and diluted the racial power, the Black vote, by diluting it and dividing all the Black community and spreading it out into 4 majority white Republicans.
That's correct. Yes.
So that was intentional. He has voiced his intent. So that's not a problem for the court. His intent was to dilute the Black vote. And stop Black people from electing the candidate of their choice, or
Correct.
able to, in the sense that the majority of the Supreme Court, or the minority of the Supreme Court of voters, which included Clarence Thomas, who did not vote in support of Alabama's upholding the Voting Rights Act, of course, which was
Mm.
Black people. He did not vote. He was not one of them who voted in favor of this. He is
Yes.
actually opposed to this based on the
Yes,
racial
he did.
aspect. He does not believe that race should be a factor. But we know that if party is a factor, that 89 to 90% of Black voters are Democrats. Okay? It's
Yes.
easy to say it's a party thing. But here in Florida, even a party drawn map is
Hmm.
awful because it's not fair to the
Hmm.
electorate, because the party that is in office can easily continue to stay in office by
Right.
drawing the maps that will benefit them and them only. And so in 2010, Florida decided no. So there are two issues for Florida voters, Jacksonville and Miami, and those who are in it. We here in Escambia County, and I saw this in the last redistricting in 2020, we in Escambia County have only one Black county commissioner, or one majority district in Escambia County, for example. That's District 3. But I know from the numbers that if we had really gotten together, we might have a chance at drawing two majority minority districts. And that,
Yes, because isn't in the Escambia County, how many Black voters do we have that are Democrats? I think.
well, it's not a matter of Democrats, it's the number
Hmm.
of voting Black voting population.
Hmm.
And I think in Escambia County, we have a 27%,
Hmm.
which is the same thing Alabama had
Hmm.
in their voting Black voters population.
Hmm.
We have a considerable number. And
Okay.
I was there partially for the county. I am new to Escambia County. I arrived here in 2018 and really
Hmm.
didn't settle until 2019. But
Hmm.
watching the numbers and sitting in, what the Escambia County Commission did was, we have like 60%, 65% Black vote in
Hmm.
District 3. It's all
Right.
called packing, which is
Right.
not actually lawful in the mapping, redistricting maps.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, if there was a possibility
Hmm.
of drawing a map with, say,
Hmm.
40%
Hmm.
in District 3, and then
Hmm.
another 35 to 40% in say, District 4 or
Hmm.
another district, that would create another majority
Hmm.
potential for election, we should have
Right.
done that. And that is called fair mapping. We
Hmm.
have to be participants, but we do not have enough people who
Hmm.
are experts
Hmm.
or well versed in
Hmm.
this particular process. And it's
Hmm.
so important because
Hmm.
for 10 years,
Hmm.
this governs who can run, who can hold office, who
Hmm.
can come up, and who you're going to vote for. And if you don't have anyone that looks like you or
Hmm.
represents your interests,
Right.
you're not likely to vote. So
That is true.
this,
I understand what you're saying, and so I would like for us to today, those who are watching, or that we commit to looking out for ourselves. We can't assume that they're going to do the right thing by us. I mean, we know that from years back, but it's not so great this time. There's a lot of pull. To the left and to the right, and we need to find a stable place, because every time a politician gets in with a whim, this is the way I see it, my opinion, gets in with a whim to make a change, is always in the negative on us. So indeed, the intent is obvious, that they want to discriminate, or they don't want us to be successful. And I heard what you said, that it's a policy that's set in place for 10 years. So uh,
years.
that 10 years, we need to establish our own way of understanding these laws, in layman's terms. They have the terms on the paper for us to read, but sometimes it's so egregious you can't even determine what's being said, and it's the deliberate attempt to keep us in the dark. And I
It is
hate being
important.
in yes, and I hate being in the dark for such an important situation as a decision that's made for me and for people in this county and all across these states in the United States for 10 years or more. You know, it's a deliberate attempt to keep us from moving forward, from propelling us forward. So we got to get smarter. We are smart. We are very smart, but sometimes we put all of our eggs in the same basket, and we need to spread those eggs around so we can be involved in this, that, and the other. You know, we need a team
We have to
to
be at the table. We
yes,
really
to
have
be
to
at
be
the
at the
table.
table when these
And
decisions are being made.
yes,
If we're
yes,
not at this
yes,
process, we're not at the
absolutely.
table. Yeah,
Yes, and
and we're
we need to.
part of a coalition
Mhm,
throughout the state of Florida, and we
mhm,
don't see many people looking like us
yes.
there because and a lot of it, unfortunately, goes back to people being participants, having the time and the effort and the
Mhm,
finances. You
mhm,
know, we have evolved, and then
mhm,
from the 1960s, we have come up, and
mhm,
from Selma, Alabama, you
mhm.
know, we were there, and
Birmingham,
we've
yeah.
been part of this. But a lot
Birmingham,
of those rights are eroding.
Memphis,
They're being
yes.
taken away by this current administration. And this goes back to the
Oklahoma,
census.
Wyoming.
You know,
Right.
the census is so important. We must be counted. And if
Mhm,
we don't stand up to be counted, then that
mhm,
determines the number
mhm.
of Black people in the district because those
I
numbers
understand.
are important. And if you're not counted, and
Mhm.
you're not part of the census, funding
Right.
doesn't come to your community either, in addition to voting and representing. But we all know that this effort by the opposition to suppress the Black vote, because there has been a prediction by the census many years ago that Black and brown people will outnumber white people by the year of 20, I think it was 2043 or something. But
Mhm,
I do
mhm.
believe that the population numbers have been a little skewed. This was a prediction many years ago, a
Yes,
decade or so ago. And so now you see the gap closing. Black people, the more Black people turn out to vote, the chances are you're going to increase in being able to sit at the table and make those decisions. You're going to understand how those decisions are being made. So, in order to address that and to stem that train moving, to stop it or slow
mhm.
it down,
Yes.
there are all these legislations.
Mhm,
There are so many legislative issues that have come this state in this state of Florida that are designed truly unconstitutional, by the way, unlawful,
mhm,
illegal action taken by this current
mhm.
administration in order to suppress the Black vote and to dilute our power so that we will not advance. And there were a number of bills passed this legislature.
And you mentioned suppressing the vote.
Correct.
I know there's a glare and you can't see this card clearly, but some of the Escambia County residents, there we go. That's not too bad. They're getting this card in the mail, and I appreciate receiving the mail, but uh there's a loss, especially I think for a senior citizen. I'm going to speak on behalf of my mother, who's 94 years old, born in 1929. I received the same, I take care of her mail and all, and I received the same card a few years ago, and I did what they required me to do, which was go to there's a QR code on the card, and you go to the QR code, log in, and you have to she doesn't have a driver's license, but she does have a Florida ID. You have to include the Florida ID number and the last four digits of your social security number to vote via mail. Okay, my thing is, me personally, I'm thinking once a voter has been a registered voter in any county in this state or any other state, that unless you get a death certificate saying that they're deceased or they've moved, or some notice saying that they've moved out of the state of Florida, out of this county, I don't think that this should be required every 2 years. It's suppose I just happen to be the caregiver for my mom, but suppose there is another senior citizen out there and there's no one helping them with their mail, and not everybody is tech savvy nowadays, even though it's not going away, and we do need to try to keep refreshing ourselves daily as it changes daily. But my concern is, why are senior citizens being aggravated like this? You
Well,
know, especially if they've been voting for years. And I know my mom has never missed an opportunity to vote. So at some point, you should say, "Oh, she's registered to vote." Every session that it was available for her to vote, let's give her a pass.
no, this legislative session and vote by mail, part of the whole idea that there has been voter fraud, which has not existed in the state of Florida by
Non-existent.
no means or anything like that, right? And the trying to vote by mail, that was part of the legislation packet that passed in the special session and all of this. And all, and yes, everyone, if you want to vote by mail, now you don't have to use that QR code. You can go to the Scambia Votes to the Supervisor of Election website and pull it up, or you can go walk in and and make your request in person. You still can go or everywhere. You know that's a convenience, and the fact that he's notified people is a convenience. But every 2 years, if you want to vote by mail and receive a ballot, you must make that request again. The idea is, and of course, it's a waste of taxpayers' dollars, and
It
everyone
really
complains.
a waste of a postage right here. You know what I'm
A
saying?
waste of postage, a waste of an attempt to
Paper.
vote again in every
Mhm,
way, vote by mail, because a lot of
mhm.
people in the last couple of elections voted by mail. I'm an early voting advocate. That is my
Me
choice.
too.
I want early voting. I want you to be able to walk in, not wait in line, go with your ID card, sign it in, punch it in that number. But
That's it. That's it.
sometimes
Simple enough.
it's convenient for people. That is
Yes.
a place where we would want to be able to
Hmm.
trust. But on election day, one of the things we must get away from is that we don't want everyone to wait until election day, because
No, not at all.
too many for us. If you're working and
Hmm.
emergency comes up, there may be a long line. There may be an incident with your voting card.
Hmm.
There may be a question about your signature, which is
Hmm.
what's happening with the elderly. One of the reasons they want you to do it every 2 years is
Hmm.
because they want to clear the roles of
Hmm.
people who may not have it, but
Hmm.
also to make it more difficult for others to help and assist the elderly in
Hmm.
filling out their
I
voting.
am too,
So,
Mary. I am too a serious advocate about that early voting. I have not had a bad experience as it relates to waiting in line at all.
yes.
All of the people volunteering to man the voting site has been friendly and professional, and I really do enjoy that. Early voting also gives you an opportunity if there's a problem to correct that so that you can vote
Correct.
in that particular election.
That, that
So
And
yes, and
that
so
is where we are with my
mhm,
eyes on the prize winning
mhm,
strategies.
mhm,
We come up with, over the years, specific strategies to help
mhm.
Black people and particularly any minority community and
That's correct.
non-partisan
Mhm, mhm,
that want to vote. And the idea, we looked at Escambia County, and in 2020 we did we did the transportation that was financed by Black Voters Matter grant, and we
mhm.
actually brought people to those sites in the
Yes,
community.
I remember
We were
hearing it
there
on
at
the news.
different locations
Mhm, mhm,
that really helped. And for the first time in 2020, we actually early voting. We even had the supervisor of elections to put
mhm,
the early voting site in Century. Century,
mhm,
which is 35, 40 miles from here, did not
mhm,
have early voting sites for the first
mhm,
time in 2020.
mhm. That's
They were
great.
able to go early in early voting. Century is a
That's
predominantly
wonderful.
Black city. We
Absolutely.
must advocate for ourselves, but if
Mhm, mhm,
we know what the law says we're
mhm.
entitled to, we do
Yes.
not know how to access our rights. And
Mhm,
that is important in voting. But we do need people to ask that question, come out and support
mhm,
elections. But if we don't have people that look like us, that
mhm,
represents our views, that talk
mhm,
like us, or want things that we want for our community,
mhm.
our
Right.
children, and our jobs, and that sort of
Mhm.
thing, we're not
Mhm.
apt to come. But it starts with us first voting. And it may not be everybody on the ballot.
Mhm.
There are
Right.
people on the ballot that we can start. And once you start voting, you'll
Mhm.
find that your voice is heard.
Mhm.
Each,
Mhm.
each vote is counted. And so we,
Well, we're going to close with this point. As you were mentioning the voters' rights of 1964 and its passing. Of course, the ballots don't always have the people that we would like to see on the ballots. But here's the thing: we had some people who lost their lives trying to give us this privilege, and we should never not take it lightly to vote. So if you can't vote on someone that's on the ballot, go in and write a name in for yourself. Okay. But
correct.
the point here is don't miss the opportunity to vote. Don't think that your vote does not count. I know we've had issues of them trying to make it not count. That's one reason why we should fight the most to vote. Our ancestors did it for us, blood was shed for a right to vote. So we should always take advantage of an opportunity to vote. And so, as we close out the show, I want to thank Miss Mary Williams for all of her attorney Mary Williams, for all of her engaging information about the voting rights and our privileges, and just explained it in detail where we can understand it. And so, from this segment, we should really someone should be calling, "Hey, let's get that team together." The information is on the screen, on the marquee, flashing by. Where you can start something. We need to engage our young people into this type of activity, and I want to thank you for joining us. I want to thank you for listening. And remember, I'm here with guests every Saturday, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, and I'm delighted to do this. And all of the guests have, when asked, eagerly said yes, which is a plus. I have not received any no's, and we have a comment. And I guess I want to share the comment, and the comment is every important topic. Thank you for bringing it to our attention. That's from one of our guests that are listening right now, and we sure do appreciate him taking the time to make that comment for us, because it is an important situation here that we're in, to get firsthand knowledge from respectable people in the community who knows, who knows, and so continue to pump us up so that we can even do better on the shows to come. If you want to be on the show, reach out www.tsteel.com at any time. I'm really an open book, and I want to keep it that way. A transparent is what I want to be. And our guests are transparent in what they share with us. And so we appreciate you joining us today. And we're going to close out at this time. And we thank you for joining us today. I must tell you that again, over and over again. So many times we just assume people are thankful, but I want to let you know from my mouth that I thank you. And we'll see you next Saturday, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. Enjoy your weekend and be safe. Thank you. Bye bye. Good morning and welcome to the show. I hope you're having a good Saturday and that all is well with you as we move forward in another day that we've been blessed with, to rejoice and be glad in. And so that's just what we're going to do this morning. I'm winging it all by myself because I'm a big girl, a real big girl. So I just want to talk about a few things, and the things that I want to talk about have to do with our it has to do with our dimensions. Uh, we have eight, well, nine wellness dimensions, and we tend to ignore those things sometimes. just living a life, just glad to be alive and, serving each other and doing what is necessary to be all that we can be, which I highly recommend. You do you. I only know how to do Tony, so uh, it's easy for you to do uh, yourself. You don't have to be anyone else. You don't have to do or be what others want you to be. You need to be comfortable in your skin. Your skin is the largest organ of your body because it covers you from the crown of your head all the way down to the bottom of your feet. And I need for everyone to be happy in their skin. It takes time sometime, depending on the drama and trauma that we might have gone through as a child or we currently going through. But know that this too shall pass. This too shall pass. And so we have to dream big, imagine big, and be all that we want to be in a positive way, leaving all the negative words out of our conversations, out of our thoughts, and just grabbing a hold to all of the positive things. Imagination is a big free uh, ball of intelligence that you can use to formulate a plan to make things happen in your life. So, the 9 wellness dimensions that we're going to briefly talk about is the emotional side of us, the social side of us, the occupational side of us, the environmental side of us, the financial side of us, the physical side, the intellectual side, the spiritual, and the mental side. So, the 5 sides that we normally pay more attention to when we're paying attention to ourselves, uh, because we're supposed to do that. The ones that we mainly pay attention to is the emotional, how we're feeling about certain situations, certain people, uh, way people respond to us. Sometimes the way they respond to us or don't respond to us will affect our emotions. From a social perspective, who doesn't want to be the life of the party? But then there are some of us who prefer to be in the backgrounds. Me myself, I can be the life of the party, and I can stand in the background and be happy with both. It doesn't matter, it just depends on who I'm socializing with at the time. From a physical perspective, that involves exercise and taking care of the skin, which is the largest organ of our body. And then we have the spiritual side. And most of us tend to neglect that side because really they don't, we don't know. I know now, but I had to learn. And I hope that you will understand that we're all spiritual beings. And our mental side tends to hold on to the drama and trauma from past life and want to continually have it in the present and the future life, and that shouldn't be. So mentally, we are able to adjust if we want to make that change for the good. So today, I want you to understand that you have an opportunity to be all that you can be. And thank you for joining me this morning. I see some of you watching, and I'm glad about that. I get a little pop up every time someone joins, and I appreciate you watching, and I hope you're able to grow from this. It's not my intent to be here talking for myself. It is my intent to be talking to the masses so that we can make adjustments in our life when we need to make adjustments, or at least be appreciated. And I want you to know that I appreciate you, even though I don't know you personally, perhaps. Well, I do know a couple of you. I do know some of you personal because I see the names now. I didn't before. But just to say that I love you. I have more love than hate. Hate is not a part of my lifestyle. Love is. Even if a person is not friendly towards me, I still want to walk in the aura of positivity and love, because if we continue to show hate, 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 that's all we get back. I want to show love because I want love back. And we need to set better examples so that people can get that warm and fuzzy feeling from love. So today I'm going to tell you about some of my favorite things. Now, if Oprah can do it, I can do it too. I want to tell you about some of my favorite things as it relates to your physical skin, um, from the crown of the head all the way down to the bottom of the feet. And I'm sharing these things because that's our physical side. And we want to make sure that we take care of the physical side. This is the third time I'm telling you, if you didn't know, that the skin, the oil, is an organ and it's the largest part of your body, and it surely needs to be taken care of. And so, some people who know me and know who I'm talking about may think that I'm biased, but I want to let you know that I'm telling you the truth about the products that I'm getting to share with you. So here is one, probably the first one that I started using back in 2015. Let's see if I can get a bit of view. Not too good, but you can see that it's somewhat of a chapstick. And I say somewhat because we can't show it very well on the show right now, but it's a chapstick. Let me see if I can work with anything. It's a chapstick. It is called Lip Butter, and this particular fragrance or scent is Strawberry Parfait. And when I have developed chapped lips, usually it takes a couple of days. Once my lips are chapped, usually it takes a couple of days for my lips to feel soft and supple again. But one use of this gives you the soft and supple lips. And I like that. And I just want to tell you about this chapstick. And the other products that I'm going to share with you is by Riga Boutte. And I use the products and I love them. And I want you to understand that there are products out there that are all natural, no chemicals whatsoever, handmade when you order. And this is one of them. And I've been using this, I believe, since 2015, and it's amazing. And so that's one of my favorite things. Another one of my favorite things is the uh, meal concern. I have it still packaged up from shipping. So I have got to open it up, and I'm doing that right now. Comes shipped like this, really beautiful, um, in a box, beautiful box. Um, and so another one of my favorite things, and I may have been using this one for about 3 years. This one is called Miracle Serum Healing and Restoration Serum. And I tell you, if you get a cut on your finger, if you burn yourself, if a flea or a mosquito bite you, and there are other things too, aches and pains, this miracle serum right here will stop it immediately as soon as you put it on. Just a little cap here, you just twist it, put a little dab, not a lot, it only takes a little bit. And this is designed for us, for y'all's people, for us to not be involved with all the chemicals that we've been exposed to in our life. We've been exposed to so many chemicals we think it's normal, and it's not. I'm here to tell you. And so, Miracle Serum, and at some point, I hope that I'll be able to put the website up so that you can go and take a look at the products that are all natural and see for yourself. Inexpensive, all natural products. Now, this one, you won't believe this, but it's the truth. I'm telling you, it's the truth. Now, when they came out with all the lawsuits about powder and, all that it would cause us because we're using powder when we're just trying to smell good. Well, here's one that's called, it's produced by the same company, Regal Beauty. And it's called, I'm sorry that visual is so bad as I hold these products up, but this one is called Royal Silk Tropical Goddess Island, and it's made with natural and organic ingredients, all natural. But here's the thing I want to tell you about this one. Uh, I stopped using deodorant about 2 years ago. Honestly, no deodorant whatsoever. So I started using this in the fall 2 years ago, and I wasn't quite sure if this would work in the state of Florida during this summer heat that we get. But guess what? no deodorant, powder once a day. Usually I do it in the morning. Uh, and you can't smell me at all. So this is a 2-year product for me, powder only. I use it only one time in the morning. Just it has a little sprinkle and a little hole on top like your salt and pepper shakers. And I just go like this and go like this and go on about my business, not thinking about anything. There's no odor. I have not smelled any odor coming from my body using this powder. Just powder now. Now, in talking about the powder, I know some of us will get insecure, about not having deodorant on, thinking we're gonna start stinking up the place at any moment. But when you go to the website, and I hope to have, it already is on the screen. Riga Butte, www.regobute.com. When you go to the screen, when you go to the website, I'm sorry, when you go to the website, there is deodorant that is also, the ingredients are organic and all natural. So if you're not comfortable just wearing powder, I'm very comfortable. And I want to tell you one other thing, but since I'm not, I haven't been using any deodorant since, and the deodorant is called by the name, when you go to the website, the deodorant is called Precious Pit Balm. So it's not even called deodorant. It's not a Babylonian name. It's a Precious Pit Balm, but it's all natural, no chemicals. And so I want to tell you that I was traveling, and I ran off for a bit before we were getting ready to go, my husband and I. And I told him, I reminded him, since I don't pack the deodorant anymore, I said, be sure and get your deodorant, because he's still using deodorant. And so when we got to our destination, Tonie, did you bring any deodorant? Well, no, dear. I told you to pack it. I don't use deodorant anymore. So he had to use this powder. After our vacation, we were gone about 4 days. As we were traveling back, he said, that works. And he's a man. And, their body odor is a little bit different than a female. But let me tell you, um, he said it worked. And so all you do, like I said, I don't know how many times he sprinkled it each day, but I only do once a day, and it's lovely. I wouldn't change this for anything. As a matter of fact, I subscribe to this on a monthly basis to make sure that I never run out. And you're able to subscribe on the website when you find some of your favorite things at Riga Butte. All right. And so then let me tell you, do you know about eczema? Well, I don't know how I developed eczema, but in any case, I did. And I'm sorry, I need to unpack this. My shipment, I get my shipment often because I've subscribed to my favorite things at this website. So, I had a little eczema, and we were using some things from over the counter, with chemicals in them. And so I saw this on the website, and I ordered this herbal, I'm still unpacking, herbal body cleanser. Do you know that, I'm sorry about this bad view, but it's called Herbal Body Cleanser Body Wash. All natural, all organic, nothing, no chemicals in it. And I can only guess, but let's say in a week or two, I had no signs of eczema. No signs of eczema at all. And it has not returned. But I am continuing to use the herbal body wash. So I have not stopped using it. So I don't know if the eczema will return if I were not to use it. But the fact that it's gone, I don't think it will return. Eczema it looks like a burn or something. That's the way it looked on my skin, and it looked a little waxy, and it would itch just occasionally, not a lot. But using this body wash, this herbal body wash, cleared up my eczema, and I love it. And so I order mine. I haven't subscribing, but I order mine in as twins, because I don't ever want to run out. Okay, I don't ever want to go back to using the body washes that they serve, that they sell in the stores on the shelves. This is it right here, and I've already expressed to you that this is handmade to order, all natural, all organic. And the good thing about what I'm showing you is that it works and it's good for the body. And that's what we need to take care of this largest organ of our body. I still want us to take care of our mental health. So mentally we want to set aside a time. It doesn't have to be the same time every day, but if you can do it at the same time every day, it works. Because like we go to work at a certain time, we get off at a certain time. Why not sit quietly for a certain time? So uh, sit down mentally and try to digest and regress and let go. If someone hurt your feelings that day, I don't want you to carry around for your entire life. I want you to blossom and let go. And say, well, let go. This has passed. And, don't let it come back and mess with your mental side. Emotionally, we all have different ways of viewing what we like and don't like and how we like to be treated and not be treated. So the thing is, if someone is getting on your nerve and causing you to be in an emotional state, emotional disarray, then what you want to do is pull out your long silver handled spoon. Be kind now. Don't ever hold a grudge. But you want to say, I don't need this person in my life, but it won't hurt you to say hello, goodbye, how are you doing? Thank you. You still want to be mannerable. But you want to put out your long silver handle spoon and put a distance. And sometimes that means we have to do that with our relatives. It's sad to say because you would think that our relatives would love us even more than the people in the public or on our jobs or in church or whatever. But sometimes relatives come with drama and trauma. So we just have to protect our emotions in a positive way. We don't want to fight. We don't want to argue all the time. We want to be sound and we want to meditate on good things, positive things, great things that have happened in our life. Because surely you've had great things happen in your life. Even if you're not having any great things happen right now, they're surely to come around. What if you give out great, you get greatness back, okay? So what goes around come right back to you, and that's in everything that you do. So if you want my love, more better, great conversation, all of that kind of stuff, that's what you want to do. You want to give it out so you can get it back. And so, one last product, but no, you'll have to visit www.regalbeauty.com for yourself. I think you can see this a little bit, but anyway, this product is called Cocoa Drops. And we're used to the big stick of cocoa, and it takes a moment to rub it to get the oil to produce on our skin, for it to be seen on our skin. But this is just one little drop. And this is another one of my favorite things. And the last one that I'm going to show you, I believe it's the last one that I'm going to show you. So I do is just put it in the palm. See the little drop right there? I put it in the palm of my hand and I rub. It's great for moisturizing your hands and uh, all of that, face, wherever you want to put it. But just roll it a little bit and you can see the oil. Uh, and it's easy. And I just keep these drops around, everywhere I am. I just keep the drops. I have a little container of drops in my car. So when I look at my hands and they look a little dry and parched, I pull out one of my drops and I start rubbing it on and moisturizing my hands. Uh, cocoa butter is safe for your face, depending on your type of skin that you have. I do have oily skin and I'm able to use this. So it's okay. So this is what our ancestors traditionally used when we got scars and bumps and bruises and that kind of thing to uh, make us, because we get those marks, from the bruising and the scarring, and this will get rid of that. And so I believe my time is just about up. And I want to thank you for watching the show. Thank you for joining me. I'm here every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. And this is what I want to do better, live better, take care of ourselves better, physically, emotionally, mentally, socially, environmental, financially, occupationally, intellectually. There's tons of things that we can do. The thing that I like to do is I like to share and I like to give. And so the first person to text me at, especially if you have eczema, the first person to text me and say, I want a free gift, do that. You can text me. Let me put the right phone number up. We might have to put it on the screen because I don't think I have it, but I'm going to go ahead since I'm so open. I'm an open book. There it is. Text that number right there. Text that number right there with what you'd like to have from what I've already showed you that are my favorite things from this company. And we would give it to you free. That's one product, whichever one you think you want, that I've discussed. And we would love to share it with you and let you find out for yourself just how great the products are. So, again, my time is up. And we will get your product out to you as you text either one of those telephone numbers. One is 850-525-1761. This is the first person now. And as a matter of fact, let's go. Let's do three. So the first three people to text 850-525-1761 with the product that you want that I've already told you about as my favorite things. Or you can text 850-525-9620. I would get the message either way. And as soon as I receive the message, of course, we'll put your product in the mail to you. Now, when you text us, make sure you send your address because we're going to need to mail that product to you. And so put your address in the text and we will mail the product to you free, no charge, whichever one you want that I've discussed. But do visit the website. There are plenty of, there's one other. If I can have just a few more seconds here, a minute. There's one more that I forgot to tell you about. This is for those who have arthritis, aches and pains. This is called Arthritis Relief Balm. And when you go to the website, you'll see all of the people who have purchased this and the raving reviews about it. Now, usually this is for, you know how old people, they say arthur, arthur's got them, for arthritis, the short term for arthritis. If you have someone in your family that's suffering with pain, not nerve damage now, but pain in their joints, knees, hip, back, wherever, foot, whatever, this right here will help that a lot. Some of the reviews say they put it on every 2 weeks and it keeps, the pain away for 2 weeks. And some people talk about how immediately this product reduces the pain. Immediately, I said. So this is another one. I don't have arthritis, but I've been sharing this with a lot of people who I hear when they say pain. I say, I got the product for you, and I encourage them to go to the website. And I want to say this: these products are very inexpensive for them to be organically and all natural. So please take a look at the website and go from there. And those are my favorite things, and you are my favorite people. And my goal is just to do all that I can to have us feel grand in our life in all of the 9 dimensions that are attached to us, and especially from a spiritual perspective. I want you to learn, to grow, to appreciate yourself, to love yourself, and to do things that make you happy. And with your happiness, you're able to evolve that happiness and send it out so to come back and we'll all be together, joined together happily. And I'm glad about it. So thank you for joining the show. Join us again next Saturday, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. I'll see you next time. Bye. Have a good day. great day. A little choppy in the wind outside, but it's a great day. Sun is shining and all is well. And welcome you this morning with all the heartfelt warmness that I have, even though it's a very cold little day outside. And I appreciate you joining us, and I'm so glad, just so glad to be alive. You know, just so glad to be alive. And if you're watching, I know you're alive too. Today we're just going to discuss choices. You know, there are good choices, bad choices, choices full of so many people doing wrong. It's hard for us to do right, but we're all about making things right, being good, and bettering ourselves. So we don't want to do what someone else does. We want to make choices that are right for us. In this world around us, we have so much going on, and so sometimes we just don't want to look at things as they are, because we are so busy trying to do and be like other people want us to be. But you don't have to do that. We have choices, and our choices are what we need to work from. We don't need to work from somebody else's choices. We need to work from the choices that we make for ourselves, the choices that we select for ourselves, and we go forward in doing that. Forgive me for not giving you eye contact, but I'm just looking down here at this moment because I got all kind of things around me, and so I'm trying to connect with everybody to make sure that I'm listening to them as well. Okay, so the reason we want to make good choices, because the choices we make now are based on what comes next generationally. You know, if we make a bad decision now, then all our relatives and the people behind us, then they have to live with bad choices that we make. And second of all, we want to try and make good choices and do well, because when we retire eternally is the deciding factor on the choices that we make. So if our choices have been rotten or not good or evil, whatever, then we may have a problem now. Understand now, this is my disclaimer. I believe in the Most High, and I also believe in a heaven and a hell. You don't have to believe that. All you have to do is listen. And listen, because I have this poem that I pulled offline that George Washington Carver wrote. I hope all of you know who George Washington Carver was. He was a great man, and he did a lot of great work in Tuskegee and in other places. But he wrote this poem called Equipment. Now, in this poem, there are 5 stanzas about equipment. But I'm only gonna read the first stanza, and then we're gonna continue. So, equipment by Equipment. Figure it out for yourself, my friend. You've all that the greatest have had within: 2 arms, 2 hands, 2 legs, 2 eyes, and a brain to use if you would be wise. With this equipment, they all begin. So start from the top and say, I can. So, this is a poem too, also online, that gives credit to a man named Edgar A. Guess. I've always traditionally known it as a poem that George Washington Carver written, but in any case, I want to make sure that I give this stanza to appropriate persons. I'm using both names because, you know, we've been hoodwinked, and we don't know what to believe in the secular history or even in our Creator's history. And so it's hard sometimes. But as I understand right now, George Washington Carver wrote the poem, and it's available online, entitled The Equipment, and also its credit is given to an author by the name of Edgar A. Guess. So today, as you know already, we're going to talk about choices. And so from my small mind, or from my thinking, if you can select to do evil, why not select to do good? If you can select to be unemployed, why not select to be employed? It's better to have something than nothing. If you can select to drop out of school, why not select to finish school? And so the list can go on and on and on with choices. But what I'm saying, if you can select the bad choice, why can't you select a good choice? I think personally that it would be easier to select a good choice and a bad choice. You know how much brain power you have to use to do something bad versus just doing something good and right? No brain power required to do right and follow up. But let me tell you something. I understand you don't have a lot of examples in this world about right and wrong. You have more wrong than right. I understand that. But you know when you're doing bad. So just select to do good, not bad, okay? We're going to always select good, not bad. Because bad causes a whole bunch of other problems for real. Got to figure out who you told a lie to, when you told it, how you told it, and all this other kind of stuff. And you're going to wonder when you're going to get stabbed in the back. You're going to wonder when you're going to get caught. You're going to wonder a whole bunch of things about something you did bad. But when you do good, good come with good. Bad comes and follow bad. Good follows good. Bad follows bad. That's easy to follow, isn't it? And so let me just look online just a minute just to see who's following along this morning. I do appreciate you for doing that. And so anyway, don't sit around wishing you could do something. I've already told you this poem, just one stanza of it. If you will look online and check out the other stanzas to be inspired and motivated and encouraged, I've already told you that your choices are the deciding factor as to what comes generations after you and for the eternity, for the end, because I do believe in a heaven and hell. So one thing you want to do is seriously make the choices that are necessary for you, for your family, for others, for this world. Because if I'm growing vegetables and I'm using chemicals to grow vegetables, then chemicals in my body are not good. Then I'm going to try to sell them at the market. Other people are eating those chemical vegetables, right? And from that point on, then the world is exposed to illness. So it's a domino effect of problem after problem after problem when we do bad. When we do good, I grow good vegetables, organic vegetables. I don't use any pesticides and chemicals to grow my vegetables. Then my family eat good vegetables. My friends eat good vegetables. And as my vegetables are sold in the market, then the world is eating good vegetables. And that makes us healthier. And we'll be happier because God didn't make us from the foundation of the world with chemicals. So at this point, why we want to put chemicals in our body? I might be off topic just a little bit about our choices, but everybody else talking about Papa's chicken sandwich, why can't I? And it's not because it's a good thing, it's because it's a bad thing. It's the choices to eat a Popeye's chicken sandwich. It has 33 or 35 chemicals in that sandwich. So our body doesn't know what to do with chemicals, and so we react to those chemicals in illness or diabetes or overweight, become overweight. We can't sleep at night. It's just a whole bunch of things that occur because we're eating the wrong way. And I can eat myself some fried chicken now, but I'm having to bag off of that because it's not good for us. It's not healthy. So I have decided to make better choices in my food choice. And so you have to decide that also, not only in food, but in every situation in your life, in your relationships and finances and all that you do. Just let me take a look here. So anyway, good morning to you. Also, and thank you for chiming in. Someone is chiming in and texting me, and that's great. That has to be a family member, but that's okay. That's all right. So let me get back on topic now. Pause and think about your life choices or choices in whatever capacity they are in. And so what I need for you to do is think about those choices and make adjustments if need to be made. Make adjustments. Okay, so we've all made the wrong decisions at some point, made mistakes at some point in our life. But the thing is, we don't have to continue to make the same mistakes. A mistake is made sometime, and we're supposed to grow and learn from a mistake. So we don't have to beat ourselves up because we made a mistake. What we have to do is grow from our mistake, make adjustments, and do as best as we possibly can from that point on. And the other thing about choices is that You're never too old to make the correct choices. You know, if you're 13 and make a bad decision, then it's okay. You know, you learn from that mistake, that decision, that bad choice, and you move forward doing better. You don't keep making the same choice over and over again, okay? And then from that point on, if you're 80 years old and you're still alive and living, you're 6 feet above ground, and you made a bad choice, it's not too late to change that thing around. I understand pride gets in the way sometimes, and we don't want to make a decision because of pride. We don't want to change things because of pride. But let me let you know that you have to. You have to make changes, and you have to. I can see myself several places around the room, so don't get disturbed. I'm not crazy or anything like that. Up over there, I can see something in front of me, and I have my texting going on here from family members mostly. I wish they would use the Facebook post to say hello to me, but it's okay. Just as long as they're listening and they're paying attention, I'm happy just to have that going on. And so from that point on, I want to say that it's not too late, regardless of how old you're old. If you're 80 years old and you know you made a mistake, hey, take care of it. At 80 years old, you ought to want to look back and say, hey, I did this wrong, that wrong, and that wrong. So you can tell somebody, don't do it that way. So you can share and you can help somebody else and keep them from making the same mistakes that you made. And we're talking minimal mistakes into large, big, blown out of proportion mistakes. One mistake I made a long time ago, and this is a very tiny little minimal mistake as an example. I love red velvet cake, but no nuts. I'm allergic to nuts. So anyway, I'm in the kitchen, my mom's kitchen. I don't know. I was driving. So let's say I'm 17 years old, and I decided I wanted to bake me a red velvet cake. And so I know how to bake a pound cake, so I'm using a pound cake recipe. And I'm thinking in my little head that all I need to do is add some red food coloring to this cake to make it a red velvet cake. How wrong was I? I'm thinking to myself, as I stirred my batter, and my batter is still pink. I'm like, that's not gonna work. So I run to the store and got 2 more boxes of food coloring, and I put more red food coloring in the cake. My batter, trying to make my batter red now. I know better now, but I didn't then. That's a mistake. Finish the story anyway. So there I am. I'm starting putting this red food coloring into this batter because I want this batter to bake red. You know, I want it to be red like I have always loved my red velvet cake. No nuts. Well, as you know, any baker, you know, you already know the story because you know how to bake a red velvet cake. And red cake, the red food coloring is not even a good ingredient. But I didn't know. So the story. Moral of it, I don't know how much time I have left, but the moral of this story is as I tried to make this red velvet cake with all of this red food coloring, I went on and baked it. I had special baking pans that I had bought because I knew I was going to make a delicious red velvet cake. Oh, it was the best food I'd ever made in my life. That cake was horrible. There was someone in a yard behind us in the backyard who had some chickens. And so, you know, chickens supposedly eat anything. But let me tell you, they did not eat that red velvet cake. When it was thrown into their little area where they're supposed to come and just nibble all their shoot, the chickens ran. My family was horrible. We tried, but it was just horrible. But you know why? Because it was a bitter red food coloring that had made the cake horrible. So, you know, I researched a little bit more and I figured out how to make a red velvet cake. If you were to ask me to make a red velvet cake right now, I could do it for you and it would be delicious. It wouldn't be horrible. It wouldn't be something that you couldn't eat. But just using that small little mistake as a reference to choices. If I had asked someone in the beginning how to make a red velvet cake, I would have fared much better. But here I am, I'm taking it upon myself. I'm going to use a pound cake recipe and add red food coloring. Now, you already know, I don't have to talk about that no more. That was a disaster. But sometime in our choices, we have to research and we have to ask questions. We have to see what's right for us. We have to think about the end result of our choices. You just don't make a decision and don't worry about the steps that it's going to take to get there, and you can't worry about, you need to worry about how it's going to end up, So that ended up horribly, that red velvet cake, but it's okay. Now I know. But if I had not tried, I never would be able to make a good red velvet cake. All right? So a little minimal example of something I made. Now, we have these big dramatic situations that go on as well. But my point here, get help. Ask questions, research before you make the wrong choices in life. Because your choices affect a lot of other stuff behind you, family, other people in this world. And when you make good mistakes, you want to share how you come to that conclusion to make good mistakes. Don't keep it all to yourself. We all need help around here, and we need to help each other. So I'm getting ready to sign off because I believe my time is up. And so don't forget to visit our website at changetomorrowtoday365.org. You can email us at changetomorrowtoday365@gmail.com. You can donate. Next week, I want y'all to look at our t-shirt. I want you to purchase some t-shirts, and if you want to, and some bags that we have, and we have some pins that I'd like to mail to you, just so that you can always remember that you can change tomorrow today. And we have 365 days in a year to do that. Thank you for joining me.